Offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach Jake Johnson.
Thanks, Matt. Great to see everyone. Great to finally be on the grass or the turf this morning and get a chance to get out there with our guys. And they've been working long and hard since January, so it's certainly a pleasure to get out with them. Looking forward for a great year. I think it starts with us. It always does. It starts with the guy taking the snap every time, and that's a great feeling when you got a guy like Terrence coming back. You know, you look at every level of football. It's high school, college, the NFL. Guys that win, guys that are successful have a signal caller that makes plays and gets done. And he's shown that, had a little adversity at the end of the year last year, but came back and fought through a tough bowl game and then had a tremendous offseason. I thought he looked great today throwing the football. So I think he's back to where he needs to be. Looking for him to take his game to new heights, and you wonder how that can happen, but it can happen. I think he can become a more consistent thrower. But as far as managing the game and getting us where we need to be offensively in the run game and everything involved there, he does a tremendous job. So that's our challenges with Terrence, his footwork and taking that ability to throw the football, throw the ball on a consistent basis to a new level. So we're certainly excited about that and his progress. And behind that we've got to find some answers. Brooks came in last year, and we need to keep developing him. And he's a good football player. I have no problem with Brooks. He's got to have a great fall camp. But then it's who's next, and we've got to find that question out. It'll be interesting to see. I haven't had a chance to see the young guys, but we have kind of an influx with Dalvin Populous and Jordan Davis in the program. Pat Morton's in the program as well. So we need to see what those guys can do to give us some depth there. So that will be a big task of mine as we enter into the fall camp. So that's exciting. Coach just touched on it. It starts with the guys up front. We've been blessed to have the offensive line, the way Coach Mitch coaches those guys and the things that they can do has been very exceptional. We've been able to run the ball very effectively last year. That starts up front. It starts with the guy you're handing the ball to. And when you have guys like Alonzo Harris and Eli McGuire coming back, not to mention Ephraim and Torrey Pearson, the other guys that fit in to make that group of guys with Coach Lovings, it makes it a pretty sound and balanced attack. Well, we've been blessed. For 3 years, we had a local product, Andre Hubal, which got everybody right, got the quarterback right sometimes. So now you take him out of the mix, and we've got to see. But boy, I'm excited. Brant Horst has done a tremendous job. Eddie Gordon, who's a newcomer to our program, first day today, all the snaps are perfect. Sometimes that's hard to say. We kind of forget that and think about getting this all right, but boy, they were hitting it where they needed to be. So, but I have confidence in what those guys have done this summer, the way they've worked, and as Coach mentioned, when you're surrounded by the guys with the number of starts that they have, certainly we're looking for some good things there. That's a big question mark that has to get answered during camp. So, and also Terry Johnson has been there as well. We'd like to keep Terry at guard, but he's did it in the spring and showed some very positive things to add depth there. Mentioned the running backs. I think we're good there. I think we have some great depth. Those guys got to take us to a new level in not only what they do with the ball, but what they do without the ball. And done a good job. But we've got to do a great job protecting the passer, and that's just as important as what they do running the ball. So looking for that. Receivers have a good crew coming back. Obviously, we lose Daryl Surgeon with some great speed. But boy, I am looking for who's going to be the next one. One guy that really excites me is Devin Scott. We haven't seen a lot of Devin Scott. But boy, he's a guy that can run and needs to take another step. Jared Johnson's a player up and coming that needs to come on. Looking for him to transition of Al Riles from defense to offense in that slot position kind of gives us a little bit different dimension with Al's ability once he catches the football, his running skills. So, we obviously we've got James Butler and Jamal who played a bunch of snaps and plays. Good with that. Now we've got to surround them with others. Another newcomer that I haven't had a chance to see that I'm interested in looking at is Dylan Bolger, a local product, and Gabe Fuselier, another local product. So looking for what those guys can do to give us some added depth to that core. Tight ends, kind of our unsung heroes. I've been saying that for 2 or 3 years with what they do, what we ask them to do in every facet of our offense. And we lost some really tremendous players last year. Guys, they didn't get a lot of touches, but what they did for us as an offense was phenomenal. So we've got Larry Pettis coming back, who has some of that experience, but now you're looking at Nick Byrne, Matt Barnes, Evan Tackford. And so those guys, with what we do, to me, are integral in what we're trying to get done and have to have a great camp and very athletic. I'm excited about their athleticism, but now let's tie that all in what they're asked to do mentally. So, my task is always, we've got to do a couple things. We've got to take care of football. I think last year our running backs, only put one on the ground. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And that starts with Coach Lovings. He kind of heads that up for us in our offensive staff. Incredible. We're it's got to come is me, and we're pretty good throwing the football, but those last 2 or 3 games, we about doubled what we had done all year. And all of a sudden flipped it tremendously, and obviously some of those games we weren't as successful. And so it comes down to that. It comes down to taking care of the ball. And so we've stressed it already today. We'll continue to do that. That's very, very vital in what we do. We'll play with unbelievable effort, and we're going to flat make plays. That's what offensive teams have to do. That's what I'll continue to challenge our guys to do, is to make plays, and we got to go to another new level. You know, it's last year we needed to run the ball. We were able to do it. You know, and then teams started packing us in the box, okay? So now if they're going to pack us in the box, and boy, these guys on the outside, Jamal, James Butler, Al Riles, whoever it might be, now we got to be able to throw the ball. So, and I think in this day and age, you have to be balanced. You have to be able to do it all. Some game it might lend itself to running football. The other game it might lend itself to throwing the ball. So, but I feel very confident we can do both of them very effectively. So, you know, we're excited for this campaign. It's been a long time coming. We're excited. I think our battery's charged. We're ready to go. Had a great first day. Like I said, we get a chance to see the new guys this afternoon. So that will be exciting for me, particularly with some young quarterbacks and some skilled kids. So certainly looking forward to that. Any questions?
Coach.
Last year during camp, this media day, you stressed how third down was kind of a point of emphasis. What's the point of emphasis this year for you guys to take that next level offensively?
Right. Well, I think it's a couple things. I think it's always going to be taking care of the ball, and it will be third down. We drastically improved last year in that area, very much improved. But it's going to be that, and to me, it's going to be kind of, I always tell our guys, I think to get to the step is when everybody in the stadium knows you need to run it, and you can still do it, or if they need to know you need to throw it, you can still do it. And I think with the experience, I think it's fair to ask our guys to live up to that. I really do. So to me, that's going to be the challenge to them. You know, it's flat, when everybody knows what you're going to do, can you still go make the play? Because then it's a one-on-one battle. Everything that we do is a one-on-one battle. Can you rise to that occasion?
First, Coach, you mentioned Elijah. How rare is that combination of their talents and the way that you like over and the chemistry that they have as teammates?
Right. I would say it is very rare. You have, I think, somewhat kind of two guys on the opposite end of the spectrum. You know, Zoe's the big, powerful guy, and Elijah can probably do just about anything you want with you. Being a quarterback in high school, I mean, he can throw it, he can run it, he can catch it. So it's so attractive for us offensively as a staff because we try to move them around and use them as we can to highlight those abilities. And I think they both know it too. So as you mentioned, I think their chemistry has been very good. You know, because sometimes that's not very easy because we all want the ball in our hand when we're a skilled guy. You know, you want the ball, you want to be able to run it, you want to be thrown to you. So, but that's a part of being a humble offense, and that's a part of the process that as we approach us as an offensive staff and our presence is that humbleness that I think has to come into play. And I think today those two have done a very good job with that.
Which is stand.
All right, those 2 games last year without Terrence, even though it's obviously you don't want to have him, or you don't want to not have him.
Right.
Was it beneficial for you all to be able to kind of evaluate what some of these guys behind him can do in a game situation?
Absolutely. You know, it gave us some opportunities to do exactly what you mentioned, to evaluate some of the guys behind them. And the other thing that you don't really saw is that even working up to the bowl game last year, we didn't really anticipate them having Terrence. So all these other guys were getting some reps. So I think at the end of the time, that's going to pay off for us because it helped us to evaluate. I think it helped me evaluate how we can use them. You know, because I might use Terrence completely different than I might use one of the other ones. And I think that allowed us a little bit of time to do that. So yes, I think it was very vital in that time to allow us to evaluate and see where we're at, see what things we need to do to certainly improve that spot.
When Terry got hurt in the spring, did that change some of the things that y'all were looking at trying to do as far as out there?
Yes and no. I mean, you know, we felt Terry's always been somewhat of a swing guy. We think we like him a little bit better at the guard position, but obviously when you lose a guy like Andre, we thought that he would be a match for us there. And I think initially we were going that way, then the injury occurred, and then Grant kind of came into the fold. And then now Eddie Gord's come in and has had a very good promising start. So if we can, to me, he's kind of the third plan. If we need to go to the third plan, you know, by injury or whatever, if that's not occurring. So right now, if we can keep them where we're at and keep working those guys interiorly with Grant and Eddie Gordon, that's what we'd like to do, because boy, it sure's us up when you have Terry playing what he's played for 2 years and 2.5 years. So that's our plan at this point.
Two questions left. Travis is David.
Taking a look kind of just at the skill positions, you know what you have with Alonzo, Eli, and Jamal, and you rattle off a bunch of names after that. Is it a case of having kind of those horses, so to speak, and then letting everyone kind of do what they do well and kind of insert the plug and play?
I think so. We certainly, I think offensively with Coach Munoz and everyone have a good feel for what Jamal can do, what maybe a James can do, certainly with Coach Lovins and Elijah and Zoe. So now it's finding what other mix is in there, what can some of these other guys bring to the table that might be a little different than Jamal. And so that will be a big part of our evaluation process as we continue to proceed through the ball camp.
David, last question.
Seems that everyone wants to pick up the pace of play when it comes to football. Even the New York Giants are starting to run something a little bit quicker. What kind of pace of play can we expect from the Cajuns this year?
Well, I think we're always going to play with good tempo. I would say in the past, I don't know if our tempo's been great, to be very frank. We kind of go in between on that, and I'll tell you why, because we like to play with good tempo. We also want to be right. And when our guys up front, the 5 guys up front last year were right, they did some pretty good things. So to me, it's kind of a happy medium of that. And so we're going to play with good tempo. We're trying to do some things in practice to help us play with good tempo. But at the same token, I don't know if I'm completely 100% ready to sacrifice being right for just boom, rolling. And because when you got 4 guys returning up front, and they know where they're going, they can get their feet in the ground, that's exciting to me, particularly when you're handing it to whoever or you're dropping back and throwing it to whoever. So it's going to be a good balance, but it's definitely something we're going to try to do. All right. Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.